Season 2.
If we made the jump to hyperspace.
I still see Adam.
I'll be in your drink tonight, Steve.
Like every night. Well, this says we're going live.
Alright, this says we're live.
There we go.
Hi. Hi, guys.
Hello.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Who are you talking to?
Everyone.
I haven't been around on here since the 8th grade picnic, so I mean, geez.
Hi, Carlos the gaming dude.
Ah. All right.
We'll give everybody a few minutes to file in before we get started. This is the first episode of Season 2, Interstate 88 Virtual Tour. Welcome in.
Yeah, road I know well too much about.
Doug is going to drag us along for the next 2 hours.
We're going to let Doug tell us actual things about the road. I think that's the best strategy here.
Yeah, there'll be some actual things about the road, and then there'll be some stories and some related/unrelated information, and of course some personal information. Well, did you know that I-88 was the first interstate or even like a freeway or expressway that I drove on when I was learning how to drive?
Uh-huh.
So this was before.
Went from exit 19 in Worcester to exit 17 in Colliersville.
And that's where the Doug trips have started.
No, it's been long before that.
Oh, I know. I-80. They should rename it after you, Doug. Seriously, the most time you were on it.
Yeah, well, this was named after a state. I-88 was named after Warren Anderson, who was New York State Senate Majority Leader, and basically the joke was that he built a interstate so he could commute to work from Binghamton to Albany. Although, from what I had read, he actually flew most of the time.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? The video could be on as long as it takes to drive I-88.
Yeah.
We could literally just have comment. That would have been fun, just to drive 88 and have commentary the whole time. How's that for a freeway video?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to all the stops along the way.
What kind of stops, Steve?
Hopefully some scenic caverns, perhaps?
Possibly.
Will they be well-known caverns or not so well-known caverns?
I would hope that Dan saw a little of everything.
Yeah. Because, you got Hell Caverns, then, like, right across from Hell Caverns, you have Secret Caverns. I've actually been in Hell Caverns before. One time I actually went in, they had a photographer thing, so the guy who was basically working that evening and myself, we were the only people in the cavern. So I got basically no obstruction. I just got free reign of running around Hell Caverns for 3 hours.
So for those 3 hours, it was Doug Caverns.
Yeah.
The question is, would you like to have those 3 hours back or not?
It was good to get there and not have anyone basically in the way. Mark Sinsabov's wife actually told me about that, so that's how I found out what they were doing. Well,
Yeah.
Mark and his wife, they actually got married in Howe Caverns.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It was a very awkward group tour because none of the other tourists knew what was happening.
No, they actually have a wedding area, basically a wedding area in the cave.
They put the groom and the bride under different stalactites, and if neither one falls down, they're married.
All right, let's rein it in here for a few minutes, okay? So let's suspend the craziness until the video gets started. Welcome in to tonight's program. Tonight we're going to experience the entire length of Interstate 88 in central New York, and we'll be giving you our, I'm sure, very smart insights along the way as we go. This is the first episode of Season 2. It's great to have you with us. We had a great time doing the first season of programs from March on through the end of May back in earlier this year. And we're glad to be back again and doing this again for the next few months. So hope you can join us, not just tonight, but also every weekend through the month of March. We should have a lot of interesting stuff for you along the way. We don't have a lot of announcements tonight, but I'll run quickly through what we do have. YouTube uploads on the channel. We are continuing to progress through the West Virginia series that was filmed in June and July of this year, and that will keep going for probably another couple of weeks or so, and then we'll get on to something else in mid-December, to be determined. The Wizmobile recently passed the 300,000 mile milestone.
Hooray!
So that's quite happy to see that happen. This car has been in my ownership for over 7 years. It's taken me to every state on the eastern seaboard except Rhode Island. And a lot of states west of here as well. So it's been all over the place. It's taken me to a lot of interesting cities, and it's responsible for the footage you'll see tonight, and also a lot of the footage you've seen in the last several years on the channel.
Yeah,
We need to get you to Rhode Island.
That's one of those weird things, yeah, Rhode Island. But I'm sure.
Well, it is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a
Well,
weird...
it is a small state, but it has a lot of character.
Yeah. That does, yeah. I should probably get back there sometime.
Yeah.
40 million channel views milestone was surpassed last month. We also did our 200th live drive episode over Thanksgiving weekend. So that feature continues to be a popular one that people enjoy. So, we'll keep doing those as time permits going forward. I want to give everyone a big shout out. Not just the people who watched season 1, but also the people who helped create the episodes and who were a part of the live commentary for each of them. Everyone came together at a time of great uncertainty in the middle of March this year, without really knowing what the outcome would be. And we all put our heads together and came up with a weekly, and in my case it was a daily, live programming schedule that was really well received by a lot of people. And so I want to, again, take one last time to thank everybody who was a part of Season 1. Many of the people who were instrumental in creating that season will be back for Season 2, and you will see them periodically throughout the winter. In fact, why don't I now take a second to introduce the people who are here tonight, because I haven't done that already. We have 3 people joining me live via Skype. We have, from alpsroads.net, we have Steve Albert. Great to have him back. We we also have the Gribble Nation invasion tonight with 2 members of that fine institution. We have Doug from New York.
Hello.
And we have Adam from North Carolina.
Hello.
So the 3 of them and I will try to keep you entertained for tonight's episode, which, as you see on this next slide, is the first episode of the Saturday Season 2 schedule. I will give you guys a minute to look this over. If you have not already seen this, I've posted it a few times in other locations, including my Facebook page. You can check it out there if you haven't already seen it. Got a lot of interesting stuff for you here. It's basically grouped into 3 categories. We've got a New York State section, we've got a Michigan section featuring material from September this year, and we've also got our West Virginia chunk from June and July of this year. It's a bit of a diverse palette there, right, guys?
Not really. It's all roads.
Well, it's all roads, but, you know, West Virginia is quite different from Detroit, I'd say.
Yeah. Quite a bit different, but both are interesting places to drive around and explore.
Both have terrible economies.
Well,
but neither of their economies are based on LeBron James.
That is true, too, yeah. So for tonight's drive, we will be starting down here in the lower left of your screen here. This is Binghamton. We'll be starting here. We'll be heading east on 88 across central New York, diagonally from southwest to northeast. 88 will end near Schenectady, and then we'll give you a little bit of bonus coverage of the New York State Thruway at the tail end of the program, because we have some interesting cashless tolling news that we have to discuss that has happened since we were last live. So we'll get into that at the end of the program. The length of tonight's drive is 142 miles. The length of the video is just shy of 2 hours. So you can do the math on what the average speed is. That's all I got for the PowerPoint. If anyone has any questions before we start the video, now's a good time to ask them. Please join us next Saturday. Mr. Angery is back for Season 2. And he is asking you to please join us next Saturday, because we've got our first...
Or he'll even be, yep. Or he'll even be more angry.
Maybe. I might have to change his color to red or something.
He's kind of red already.
He's orange. That can make him more red, though. I'll have to see if I can do that. But anyway, we have our first webinar of Season 2 next Saturday, featuring the interstates and other highways of the southern tier of New York. And we hope you can join us for that. And we have a special roundtable discussion tomorrow in this time slot, 6 o'clock. And we'll be talking about travel in the COVID-19 era. I know a lot of us were able to get out from our home bases during the summer, and many of us went to unique areas of the country. So we'll be sharing our experiences and talking about what travel was like, what we had to do, what restrictions we encountered, and any advice that we might have to you folks out there who are looking to do some traveling either this winter or next year. So we hope you'll be available to tune in for that as well. Okay.
Please join us tomorrow for COVID-19.
On a special episode of...
A special episode.
I may not want COVID-19. I have to think about this.
You may have already had it. You never know.
Well...
All right. It's about an hour and 53 minutes of video to go 142 miles. I'm about to do my Speed Racer impersonation across central New York. So without further ado, let's get this video started. Welcome to Season 2, everybody. We survived.
Hooray!
We survived the summer. So now we can get back to doing this nonsense for another.
This is a perfect time to note that I averaged over 110 miles an hour the first time I drove I-88, which I do not recommend. But that was for the 2003 Albany Road Meet.
2003.
2003, back when you could drive in the right lane.
Yeah.
We are merging onto Route 17 eastbound at exit 71 in Binghamton.
Johnson City at this point, really.
I think it's either Johnson City or Town of Dickinson or something.
Yeah.
And then the City of Binghamton line is up here. We will be passing through the new look Prospect Mountain interchange, which was finally wrapped up this year after about 7 years of construction. Might have even been longer than that.
Yeah.
This project realigned all of the ramps connecting Interstate 81 with Route 17 and future Interstate 86, creating new flyovers and separating traffic for long-distance traffic on Route 17 to traffic exiting here for Interstate 81.
And you'll want to drive every ramp in every direction.
37 times.
It's worth it.
I bet I know someone who has.
Not by choice. Or maybe by choice.
I think it, well,
Not me.
if you made it to ramp 7, it was by choice. So one thing that's different here is that the traffic splits before the curve here. Whereas the old arrangement, you used to have all the lanes dive around the curve, and then the split was after that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we still have a curve
Yeah.
here, but it's a bit more orderly in that traffic has already been divided up beforehand.
I will say I have not been on this road since they completed construction, so
You're
it's
not
interesting
alone.
to see this.
Yeah. It's interesting how it, basically how it all finished. It looks really nice. But yeah, basically I remember beforehand they called it Kamikaze Curve for a reason.
They did.
When was this construction period? Because the last time I was through here was 2012 when it came up to Utica for curling. So was it started to be under construction then or not? I can't remember.
It might have started right after that. Like 12 or 13, something like that.
I think it was underway by then, because it took many, many years to
Yeah, that's what I thought.
all the preparations.
So we get on.
I wonder
Yeah.
I wonder if we're going to go stop and pay Jason Ilias a salary. That's we're passing by Cracker Barrel.
There's a Jason Ilias reference in the first episode of season 2.
But Binghamton is the Midwest, not the South, says some people.
It's the heartland.
Mm.
So after about a mile on 81 North, we reach the eastbound beginning of I-88.
Yeah, and this connector over to I-81 was the last part of I-88 that was built.
Yeah. Hey, Doug, that park on the right.
Scenic Park.
I always remember when I would be coming up from Pennsylvania to Albany, that park, and I never stopped there. I just have you ever been there?
Yeah, I've been there. They have the that's where they have the Speedy Fest and basically
why they have
hot
the-
air balloons.
The pull away fence or the roll away fence there.
Yeah, and I think there's a building there used to be a rest area years ago, because you go to that into that park and you look at the building. It looks like a New York State built rest area.
Oh,
But yeah, this is the last part of I-88 that was built because they were trying to figure out if they were going to basically connect with I-81 further south than they did closer to the interchange with 17.
Is that what you had sent me earlier? That 88, 80,
Yes.
81 connector?
Yes, that was it.
Okay. So that was intended to be a part of 88.
Yeah, because they're trying to there's different alternatives on how they're going to connect everything over between 88 and 81.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here we are now. This is over at exit 2, which is the Shenango Bridge exit, which I can take 12A north. A lot of times, if I'm down in Binghamton, this is where I'll hop on I-88 because I'll stop at the Speedy and Rib Pit and pick up a Speedy, basically to bring my way back.
Ah.
I remember doing that last time.
Yeah, there's one that's off of exit 6 on 91, and that's pretty easy to grab that and then hop back on the road that way.
Where would you stop to bring the Speedies down to our tailgate for the Hurricanes games?
Did I bring Speedy?
You have.
I think I brought the Speedy Marinade.
Yeah, you brought the Marinade.
It was the Marinade. You can get that at Price Chopper.
And we made them at
Market 32 now, or Market 32 Cat.
But I know we made
on the left of I-80, you have the Shenango River here. Between the Shenango Bridge exit and the Port Crane exit. Port Crane was actually a canal port because there was the Shenango Canal that went up to the Utica Rome area to meet the Erie Canal at one time. So there was a canal that went between the Erie Canal and Binghamton. That was the Shenango Canal, and basically I think this was actually where the canal bed was.
And I believe we're over Old Route 7 also.
That is also correct. Because if you look right before the exit to the right, there will be a road that you'll see like a road that kind of veers off. And that's 7B, and that was actually where 7 had exited this alignment, and then 88 went on. It's aligned by itself.
Yep.
But what happens is that they have 7. They continue 7 on to the Sanitaria Springs exit, which, my understanding, there was a sanitarium at that exit at.
That's where 7 left, right there on the right.
Yeah, no, it's that 7B. Well, that's where it
was.
Yeah.
Now, at what point are they going to renumber these exits?
When New York gets off its posterior.
New York's going to be the last state at this point.
No, Vermont. Vermont did that whole milepost. Like, instead of renumber the exit, we'll just put like a milepost.
We'll just put another exit number.
Vermont.
Yeah.
It's sort of.
I do miss Vermonting.
You missed going to Manchester, Vermont.
Vermont. Oh, Nina. I have not heard Nina commercials in a number of years.
I wonder if Ray Moore has passed away.
I have no idea.
I think he has.
I miss going to Quebec, but I've seen all of Vermont at this point, and going back there just means long, slow drives on twisty roads.
Yeah, well, I have other reasons to go to Vermont too. Basically, there's a lot of hiking I can do, and my last 2 CRVs are actually named after presidents from Vermont. I had the Chester A Honda, and now I have the Silent Cal, named after Calvin Coolidge.
Which we've been to his
yes, in Plymouth.
Historic site. Did the Vermont 100 trip, you, me, and Joe.
Yeah.
May 2012.
Now, we did pass a sign a couple minutes ago for Senator Warren Anderson Expressway. I think we kind of explained what that's all about with the banter before the video started. Do you want to add anything to that?
Well, the highway was actually they actually voted on the name of the highway. It was actually Governor Mario Cuomo, who signed the bill that named the I-88 after Warren Anderson in 1989.
And we're all better people for it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's too bad Mario Cuomo doesn't have anything named for him today.
I'm sure they can rename 88 at that point.
Yeah.
Oh man, I remember did this when I was up in Albany. How many times I would go up and down this, back to PA or for work. It's kind of bringing back memories.
I remember very little of this road because I was following a motorcyclist, and as long as he was going that fast, I was going that fast. And so I was just trying to, as a 20-year-old driver, just trying to stay on the road.
I did not clinch this road for the first time until 4 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, I was very late to the party.
The first time I was on it, I clinched it in 03. October of 03 was the first time I was on it.
Yeah, Adam and I were having this discussion that we both drove I-88 within a week of each other for the first time.
Because remember, Doug, that was the year I did my big New England vacation, and and Steve mentioned how you guys had the Albany meet then, and I don't even remember it. I think it's probably because I had to rush back to PA for it being a wedding. But yeah, it was October of 03. It was actually a nice fall day. It was a little wet, but it was really good scenery. And driving 88, I mean, I fell in love with it. But also, I would see 7. You could see 7, down in the valley or below, and everything else. I was like, well, if I had more time, I'd love to drive 7 just to check it out and everything else. And excuse me. And then, what was it? A little over a year later, I moved to Albany for 2 years and got to do that. But but I remember this drive. I still remember some things about this drive, and just the color, the sights. And I was telling Steve, we were talking about this before this afternoon. I gave him a ring while I was running some errands. I remember they were like doing some resurfacing, and I guess it was like with diamond grinding or anything else up towards Rotterdam and everything else. And I remember stopping at the gas station in Otago, and just some of the things, and got some, I guess probably old or still original at that time New York I-88 shields. I took a picture or two of. Yeah. But that's one of my favorite vacation drives I did, and gosh, that's 17 years ago.
I will say the first time I actually, when I clinched I-88 was in 1991. We actually went to the Corning Museum of Glass out in Corning, and then from Corning we went up to our cabin, which is, of course, right off of I-88. So that was the first time I was really on the highway west of the Oneonta area. Of course, I had been on I-88 east of that, many times. We'd go up to our cabin. If there was a rainy day, my mom would drag my brother and I to the Champion Outlet, which was in Schenectady, over on the crosstown connector area, like Rotterdam area. But yeah, I remember when it was, when the first time I was on, I wish I was taking road pictures then, because they had the old button copy. Everything was, they had text, instead of like the route numbers were in text and things like that. Yeah. But that was, I said, years ago. Yeah. Well before I even thought of taking pictures of
for me, I was still, I was like, before the really digital camera and everything. And I wish I would have got it earlier. I didn't get mine until December of 04 and different things like that. And I was, point and shoot. Well, remember when everyone was using basically the disposable cameras to take photos.
Right.
But going through it's just like, man, if I should have done it earlier. It is what it is. But even some of the stuff in Albany in 03, 88 and 03 still had a lot of old stuff. And, granted, when I was there in 05, 06, there were still a lot of the older shields left for the folks that are into the signs and stuff. And, was able to get some, but like you said, you were on it, your family vacationed in the cabin in there, so you got to see a lot of it, in your formative years.
Yeah. This is an area. Yeah, basically, this is still in Broome County where we're at now. We're heading down the hill towards Harpersville, in that area. I have a friend I went to college with who was from this area. I actually went to visit one time when we were in college, and I remember it was like the summer during college. I remember going basically to a farmer's field, in the middle of the night for a kegger. And then the farmer apparently found a kegger, was beating the keg with a stick. So there was about 10 people in my car that I had at the time, which was a SUV that fit 5 people. And driving around that we got, and just having to go back to my friend's house. And that was actually the same night that the Dallas Stars beat the Buffalo Sabres in Game 6 of the 1999 Stanley Cup Finals. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, that's an interesting aside. But I was going to say, is that the start of the absurd that as we know, we like to joke, Doug, that you always seem to find the most unique things happening. Like
it's backwoods upstate New York. It's pretty absurd in general.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I mean, it's up there with the chicken on the bike.
That was in Pennsylvania.
I know, but still, I'm trying to think of one of the absurd things we had. Well, one we can't repeat from Thruway. We can't tell that story in good company, but
I don't think there's good company here.
Oh, that's true, but I don't know. I'll see what go through. But that was.
Now you piqued my interest.
Story about the 2 girls that were afraid.
Yeah, so I had to stop at the ATM. We were driving down Route 4 at Lansingburg, North Troy, and they started putting their hands up each other's shirts.
Yeah, Doug and I were like, "Turn around!" Oh man,
I think that was after we saw Wendy at the Bennington Wendy's. Which there's no longer Wendy's in Bennington.
There's no longer you mean
it's a bank now?
It's a bank. Oh wow.
Yeah.
The Bennington. Oh yes, the Bennington Wendy's. Yeah. It's not the same as the Syracuse Wendy's with the 2 store.
You're right. So we're yeah. So around here we're crossing the Susquehanna River for the first time, and that'll be, we'll be crossing it a bunch of times until we get to Oneonta.
Are we near Sydney yet?
No, not quite. We just passed the Harpersville exit, so we're about 15 miles from Sydney.
I think we should just be silent for 15 minutes and let people enjoy the ride.
Well, this is basically, what we've seen so far of this interstate. This is pretty much what you get for about 115 miles or so.
Yeah, my personal favorite part is northeast of Oneonta.
Yeah. And, what I had found out when I was going through I-88, there was actually, east of Oneonta, there were actually a few different alternatives that they were going to, which one of the alternatives was south of where they, basically from exit 17 over towards, Worcester and then Richmondville. They were actually looking at possibly building I-88 south there, which would have meant a long climb up a hill called South Hill, which basically would have been a couple miles south where I-88 is. And that would have been like a long climb up the hill, and that would have I-88 could be a pain during the winter, but that would have been even more of a pain during the winter.
It would have been like a West Virginia style grade there.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that area. I know, I've been in all the back roads in that area because, I'm over around that area all the time. But yeah, that would have been interesting. And then once you get to East Worcester, instead of, it kind of goes north along this one hill and then loops back into Richmondville. They were going to follow, one of the alternatives was going to follow Brooker Hollow and then go into Richmondville, kind of like in the west or like the south side of Richmondville. That would have been less miles. I think it would have been about a mile less, but that was the other alternative. In that area, basically, eastern Otsego County into western Schoharie County. And then, of course, once you get further, out, towards Duanesburg, I-88, the initial alternative that they were going to build, instead of I-88 going, basically past Duanesburg and ending at I-90 in Rotterdam, where it is now, it would have veered east in Quaker Street and then would have met up with I-90 over, the Thruway exit 25. So there would have been that interchange with 80. There would have been an interchange with 88, 890, and the Thruway.
Yeah, somewhere there was like drawings. I don't know where it was.
Probably CJ had them.
Yeah, CJ probably had all of that stuff.
Yeah. Where I know 88, they were, there was one proposal where it would have went east out to basically Bennington area. It would have petered out, over near Hoosick Falls.
And then for this, because to talk about it later, wherever where that washout was in 05.
Oh, in Unadilla.
Yeah, well, I want to just make that up so we can just remember to talk about that. I actually have, as that, because we wrote about it in a blog, and back then the blog was more newsworthy. Actually, one of the family members of one of the truck drivers that passed away when that washed out wrote to me thanking, just following up on the story and all that kind of stuff. So it was, kind of, I don't want to say cool, but it was, nice that it meant something to those people.
Right. And I'm actually going to post a link from the articles over to the live chat. So that way, you have to. Actually, there was a few different articles. Actually,
yeah.
So I have, the initial one for the washout. There was an I-88 collapse photo. So you'll have that. And then you have another one, which is, well, that. Yeah. And then, let me see what else we have. Because I basically just typed in Unadilla, and that was where I was getting.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. If you just actually do a hashtag search on, not a hashtag, but the post, you can just, because I tagged it Interstate 88, so I can see if there's anything else.
Right. But yeah, there's some articles about, that, basically the collapse. Mm-hmm. Basically it's right before the first exit in Unadilla, so that'll be, still be a ways.
Oh, hey, look at this. How you were talking about Warren Anderson, I didn't even know I wrote this. It's 13 years old. But when he passed away in 91, at age 91 in 2007, so I'll put that in the chat too.
Yeah.
That's when I was trying to do, yeah. I'm only happy when it rains.
Okay.
Okay, Garbage. Shirley Manson, I think, was the name of the person from Garbage.
I'm trying to find theirs. We'll see if I can find anything else. Actually, one of the first posts I wrote when I started the blog years ago, New York to replace fill at site of collapse, was about how I looked on the I-88 just driving on it. So let me see if I find it.
Right.
I don't view I-88 as something you like driving. I view it as something is necessary.
I mean, it's
not a whole. I agree with that. I loved it.
I mean, it is. I enjoy it. I think it's scenic. I don't take it all the time when I'm around I-88, because there's a lot of, back roads, county roads, state roads. that are also really enjoyable to drive in the area. But I-88 itself is an enjoyable drive. Quiet.
Yeah. I think the quiet part of it and the scenery, because, I mean, it's not like a heavy driven road. And granted, I haven't been on it in 8 years now, but I always enjoyed it. I would sometimes on my lunch when I worked at the office in Rotterdam, would just take 88 or 720, whatever it is, and I would just drive around at lunch and enjoyed just going down 88 to check out some things, to get pictures. And on that that northeast section, like there's been sometimes with snow or after snow, there would be people, or even in the fall, parked on the shoulder just taking pictures of the scenery from 88.
Yeah.
So I've always liked it. I think, you've taken photos, Doug, of stuff up that way from that. It's scenic from even when you're not on 88, where, it's like the centerpiece and you're not on the road and you're like on 30A or whatever it is that various things. Yeah. You can get really nice shots.
Or my favorite view is coming down, it's the Charlottesville Road in East Worcester. Coming down that road actually any time of the day, but I think my favorite shot was basically taking a picture of it basically first thing in the morning, and it was like during the early summer, and there's like a light layer of cloud like right in the middle, and that was really that's always really nice to see.
I'm looking up mine here, and maybe I'll post it on some stuff that I had of 88 on the Gribble Nation site on our Facebook page and share it. I got one here where it was, I guess it's the 30A bridge that goes over it in Schoharie County, and that was one of my favorite. There's like a truck climbing. I'll share that in case.
It's Schoharie County, right?
All right. Well, wait till
it'll
be scary once we cross into it, because Doug and I have a surprise for y'all.
Yeah, I'll say that.
We have a lot of stories. Once we get east of Oneonta, Doug and I have a number of stories to tell about 88 from when I lived up there.
So I just want to know.
I'm going to post the Instagram version of my favorite photo of I-88 from a view off of 88. That was that view from East Worcester that I was mentioning.
I just want to note that if I've been a bit of a downer on I-88, it's mainly because even this year I've been on I-79 in West Virginia, I-68 in Maryland, and 88 is scenic, but not compared to some of those roads. So I am biased.
Well, yeah, I've been on 68 this year. I've been on 64 across West Virginia, which is another really scenic drive.
I haven't done. Yeah, I'm looking. I hope to do that soon. I haven't done that yet. That'd be nice.
West Virginia Turnpike.
Oh, here's Sydney coming up.
Oh, now home to a Happy Shed, by the way.
Oh yes. Oh, Curtis Lumber, the Happy Shed.
Yes.
Well, the Richmondville store is now a Happy Shed as well.
Yes, I know that. And you can see the Richmondville store from Interstate 88.
Yes, or the back of it, anyways.
Yeah, the back of it.
But yeah, what is Sydney actually has a few different. It's an industrial town. Mead, I think it's Weed West Vaco now, or West Vaco, which basically they made like office supplies. They I think they used to be based in Sydney, and they have a factory there. And then there's I think Amphenol, I think is the other one. I want to say they do aerospace. I think you can always double check on that. Do not know what Amphenol does. Oh, Amphenol is a major producer of electronic and fiber optic connectors, cables, and interconnect systems such as coax cables.
Consult your physician before taking Amphenol.
You would think that does sound like a name of a medication.
Oh,
but no, they make cables and things like that. That I had to look that up.
Sydney, I had to do an inventory there once, and actually a nice little town. And I know it sometimes will flood, speaking of the 88 washout and different things like that. But yep, been on 8 number of times going there, between there, and I think back and forth to Walton because we had a location in Walton as well. I can't remember the way to get over to Walton.
8 to 206 through Masonville.
Yeah. Yep. And then up to Roxbury to visit Uncle Charlie.
Good old Uncle Charlie. I wonder what he's
How is Uncle Charlie doing?
I don't know. He bailed out like, good old. He would call me in a panic on everything. Good old Uncle Charlie. Our old Albany store, Steve, was actually...
Ooh, a text stop.
What?
A text stop. Instead of a rest stop, a text stop.
Oh, very nice. I did that. But our Albany store was actually in barns, old barns. You could see the cows, the old stalls. But he was way over his head. But inside joke. But it was just Uncle Charlie.
Yeah, that's all. That's Uncle Charlie. That's all he wrote.
That's it.
Yep.
What was it? And then we played on it with Hot Dog Charlie's stuff in Albany.
Yes.
Is that around Hot Dog Charlie's?
Yeah. There's a Hot Dog Charlie's around somewhere. I mean, I see the Hot Dog Charlie sauce. I haven't been in a Hot Dog Charlie's in years, nor would I really care to venture into one.
There
are better places for mini hot dogs in the Albany area. You go to this place in Waterville. It's called Gus's. It's basically in the front of some guy's house, but actually has the like the restaurant. Basically, just go up, walk to the front of the house. You order your hot dogs, and then they serve it to you.
Yep. Yeah, I think I went with you and CJ to Hot Dog Charlie's once, and I remember not being that impressed.
That's a CJ thing for you.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things that are CJ things.
Charlie thinks he's such a hot dog, but he's not.
Well, we are approaching that Unadilla exit, where there was the washout. That's coming up in the next, actually less than a mile.
Let's see where that was. I'll never forget that day, and I think somebody mentioned on the virtual chat or the live chat about how that shut down, because the Thruway even shut down. I think that weekend when it happened, or that happened. The amount of
it was right after this. It was right after this overpass. You'll see the sign for the Owl Out. I don't know how you pronounce it. The creek here.
Well, yep.
Yes,
it was a culvert. Mm-hmm.
It was a culvert that washed out, and unfortunately, there was a tragedy.
Yeah, so when that happened, I'll never forget the amount of 18-wheelers. They had VMS signs and everything, the portable ones, that were pulled over on the side, just couldn't really go anywhere on the exit onto 88 from the Thruway. And then even that first exit for 7 at Rotterdam, because there was like a mini truck stop, and even all of the they were parked even on 7 back and forth a while. It really, that closure of the Thruway, etc., just really held things up for a while. But I'll never forget driving in and just into work and that amount of those 18-wheelers, because that was the only time it ever happened in the 2 years I was there.
Another thing about Unadilla, there was actually one time it was a town called Wattles Ferry. That's Wattle apostrophe S, and that was where the old Catskill Turnpike or Susquehanna Turnpike, which was an old early 19th century turnpike. That's where it came into the Susquehanna River after crossing over the Catskills, basically through northern Delaware County, southern Schoharie County, and into Greene County, and then ending, I think, in Athens, New York.
Mm-hmm.
But it followed New York Route 357, basically into Unadilla. But me who likes the history of those old, and like finding the old post road markers, that really does interest me too. Finding out about all those old roads and then finding the little, stone markers here or there. And this is actually that exit for 357 now.
Mm-hmm. I remember when that was, but all the fun stuff we like to do in our version of the niche.
Yes.
So is 357 the one is Otago?
No, that's the next exit for Otago.
Okay.
That would be exit 12. It's the rest area is still there. It's across from Betty Beaver's, which is a
Yep.
That's an interesting sign. It's the only gas station sign I've ever seen that has boobs. There's no other way to put it. Yeah.
We've gone over 21. It's all right, Adam.
As you can tell, Doug and I are still sophomoric, even in our 40s.
I argue you haven't turned 40 until we have a proper party.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was supposed to have a 40th birthday party, but with my twin brother. But of course, that didn't happen because of the pandemic. I actually was in Oregon instead for my 40th birthday.
And for my 40th birthday, Steve still hasn't got his damn shirt from the Carolina Hurricanes.
Where has Steve gotten his shirt from?
He got one from somebody one year.
I want to say maybe New Jersey Devils.
Yeah.
I got an Albany Devil. Albany Devils. I have a shirt.
That shirt was coming to you, Steve, that night, that afternoon, that night. That was a lot. New Year's, I remember it was against the Blues. But that guy in the catwalk robbed you of a free T-shirt to this day.
Every time I go, I say, I will be a fan of your team if you can get me a T-shirt that you owe me. And they have yet to make that deal.
That desperate, and they're that, well, at the time, they're that desperate for fans. They should have just gave you a T-shirt. You even asked at our wedding, Stormy, for a T-shirt.
Yes. I also danced with Stormy.
At our wedding, we had the Hurricanes mascot. And Mag and I met at the Hurricanes, her family's season ticket holders, blah, blah, blah. And Steve, we had someone gifted us a visit by the mascot, Stormy, which is a pig. And Steve was trying to get a T-shirt from him, and he still hasn't.
They owe me, plain and simple.
Now I'm still recovering from that night, from the hangover.
Yeah, that was a gnarly. I just remember at the reception coming out of the restroom after having overindulged in spirits, and I was too drunk to have closed the door properly. So there was this 10 or 11-year-old girl just standing there, sort of staring at me. And I just told her in the most serious voice possible, never start drinking. It's not worth it. And I just went back and started dancing with Stormy again.
And you guys somehow made it up to the second floor and played hockey against each other.
Well, they kicked us out.
Yeah, until they kissed you. We didn't rent the second floor. That's why. If we would have rented the second floor, you could play.
Oh.
So blame it on... But you still stuck down with the Hurricane jerseys they had, and you and Brian Polidoro. We have the photos of it.
This is what happens when you let road enthusiasts get off a road together. You should only keep us behind the wheel.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
Yeah, especially when alcohol's involved. So this is the
Otago exit.
Mm-hmm. And this is a connector to 7, if I recall correctly.
Yes, most of the exits to Route 7 from 88 are basically connector ramps and access roads. You don't get a lot of Not really many exits, basically where 88 crosses 7. I'm trying to think if there are any.
There's at least one sign for 7.
Yeah, maybe down in Binghamton, yeah. But basically they all just connect over to 7.
I see Silent Bob is on the chat, and if he's continuing with North Carolina, when he lived in North Carolina meets, Bob, do you have any breaking road news for us this evening, like you used to at our old, when we would do like a monthly local meet? Bob would always come in and say, "Oh, by the way, did you know this just was approved today?" We're like, "Bob, every time we have a meet, you have something new to tell us." So maybe you can keep that tradition.
So we are getting close into Oneonta now, and before I-88 was built, basically Oneonta was finished in 1974, but as far back as the 1950s, there was talk of building a bypass of Oneonta, basically to bypass downtown. So basically there was talk about basically figuring a way to get through Oneonta very early, and I-88 was actually the end result of that, along with part of New York Route 205 that's west of town. But I remember seeing old maps from the early 70s where you could kind of see like what they had designed as a bypass, but before 88 was built, and that to me was interesting. But yeah, Oneonta, what's interesting in Oneonta? John Elway played minor league baseball in Oneonta, and after spending the summer in Oneonta, he probably said, "Screw this, I'm gonna play football," and figure out. Although I think what was happening, he was kind of using this a part of a bargaining chip to not have to play for the Baltimore Colts. Because remember, basically, he refused to play for the Colts, and he got traded. He wound up getting traded to the Denver Broncos.
I can vouch that nobody
had
picked him. Baltimore Colts.
Right, he was drafted.
Well, this was right before they became the Indianapolis Ursays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was before or after, when Robert Irsay or Mr. Irsay was drunk at the terminal of BWI. That video, if you've ever seen that video. We, Doug, we have some stories about Oneonta. Went to see the Oneonta Tigers. Was it the Tigers franchise then?
Yes, basically it was the Tigers. I think they became the Tigers, I want to say, in 1999.
Okay. So
after the Yankees decided to have a franchise elsewhere.
Now they've got one 5 miles from my house.
Elway was there, so the Yankees had it. So, but
the Yankees now have one that I can get to any given night. I can get season tickets.
That's right.
I still have to find out what's going on with the Tri-City Valley Cats, which is the local minor league team for me. That was still up in the air the last time I was reading about that, and that was earlier this week. Yeah. They might be the... I think they're trying to figure out who that last team in the new Mid-Atlantic division will be. I think it's between Albany or Lowell or even the Carolina Mudcats. I've heard is possibility for that last spot in that league.
The Mudcats,
Mudcats, yeah.
Muddy deserves the majors.
Muddy.
I think I speak for all of us when I say Muddy the Mudcat for president.
I agree.
I vote for him.
Mini Muddy. You can't forget Mini Muddy.
I never met Mini Muddy.
Oh man,
this is why I defer to you. You're the knowledgeable one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, now we're in Stoniana.
Stoniana.
Oh. Speaking of the Tri-City Valley Cats, or whatever they're called this week, the Yolanda Vega incident.
Oh, yes. I remember that. We went to a Tri-City Valley Cats game, and it was, I think, like New York lottery night, and, there was a bunch of teenagers sitting in front of us, and, we start chanting, we want Yolanda Vega. And then one of the kids I want Yolanda Vega so bad.
It got real quiet. We Doug, CG, and I, we instigated it a bit, and that was, he just yelled it, and everybody just stopped and looked at the guy, at the kid. His head's up there when we had the guy at the Albany Devils game, Ott.
Oh no, it was Steve Ott. That was
Steve
actually
Ott.
River Rats at the time.
And he flipped us off as he was leaving the game.
Ott! We just yelled his name, Ott.
Every time. And
I think he was playing for, I want to say, the Hamilton Bulldogs or something like that at the time. It was before he made the NHL.
Yeah.
I still like the time that Doug and I harassed the ref when we were wearing jerseys that had nothing to do with...
Oh, that was when you guys were harassing Yager.
And Yager, right? They made us stop harassing Yager.
Yeah, we were yelling at him. We were yelling at Yager just for being old. We were yelling, "Hey, ARP, Medicare, you're old.
You need Geritol."
Yeah, you guys were So, Dan, I don't know if you've heard the story, but they were down for a hockey game. They usually come down. We were sitting about 2 rows from the glass, or the row behind the glass, and buddy of mine from Pittsburgh, Joe, he was wearing his Pens jersey. Doug's wearing his Islanders jersey. Steve's wearing a Rangers jersey, and the linesman comes and looks and says, "What the hell is a Pens, the Islanders and Rangers fan doing at a Hurricanes hockey game?" And they're like,
they're playing the Panther set.
Panther.
And they were just yelling stuff at Yager, just calling him old.
Yager, you got back into life with the Pens.
So you went to a hockey game with 2 teams, and the 3 of you went wearing completely different jerseys?
I had my Hurricanes jersey. Yeah, when they would come down, when we had season tickets, and we had my father-in-law had extra seats that we were able to cash in, so we sat next to the penalty box, and 2 rows behind the glass, and you get Steve, Doug, and I, and my buddy Joe together around, just to instigate things. It can be a lot of fun.
Yeah. I remember one time I went to Sabres Lightning game, and I was wearing an Islanders jersey. Oh, I got a lot of snide remarks for that one.
Yeah, you go to a Hurricanes game, you don't get anything. But...
Yeah. Well, we're over, Route 28 has joined in on the fun for a couple exits. Came in Oneonta, and then then basically leads off at Collinsville to head up to Cooperstown. Dan, have you been up to Cooperstown?
I have once before. Yep.
I'd love to go there again.
Yeah. And if you remember what I was mentioning, earlier about, basically east of Oneonta, where they were looking at building different alternatives for I-88 when the road was under construction. This is where it would have, if they went for a more southerly alignment, this is where it would have veered off and then basically went up into the hills to the south of here. And that would have been an interesting climb.
Hey, Doug, I know it's the exit or 2 prior, but the barbecue restaurant in Oneonta.
Oh, that we just passed the exit for Brooks Barbecue, which is a place I would recommend Steve go to sometime, because that's the place for barbecue in that part of the state.
No, I'm a barbecue snob. I'm going down to Adam if I'm getting barbecue.
Yeah.
No, this is one of the good places for barbecue in New York.
I dispute that there is such a thing.
Mm.
I disagree with you, Steve.
I disagree with your disagreement with me.
Are you a Western or an Eastern North Carolina version, or are you like the
Western.
South Carolina? Western, so you're tomato. I was, and then when you marry someone that wants East Carolina, and I've grown on and worked in Eastern North Carolina for a long time. The vinegar base has grown on me a lot.
She's a purple pirate.
Yes, she is.
And I still have the cup you guys gave me, so I appreciate that.
You're welcome. And I am also now. She's a double pirate. I got my master's from ECU, but she got her undergrad and master's. So, and then final thing on Oneonta, Doug and us would go down to Oneonta Tigers games, where it is a dry or was a dry ballpark. And the irony of ironies is that they had quote-unquote box seats reserved for the liquor store.
Yeah. Yeah, so over here, we have, the road, 28 veers off to Cooperstown. There's actually a state park near here called the Robert Riddell State Park. It does not charge anything, so you can just walk around freely, and I think only really the locals and I know about it, so.
I did not know about it.
Yeah. I found it at random as I was driving around. I'm like, I think I'll take a walk, and it's a nice place to take a walk.
Speaking of which, how far along are you on the visiting all the state parks and the state park pass?
Well, I'm getting there. I'd say about halfway through. I went to Letchworth a couple weeks ago. Over south of Rochester.
Yeah, that's one state park I gotta get to, is Letchworth.
Yeah, and speaking of Letchworth, basically you can fly a drone there, but apparently you need a permit.
Oh, it's one of those places?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's something to keep in mind. Well, we're coming to the start of a lumpy part of I-88, although it gets worse. It gets worse a few exits from here.
Just wait a few miles. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it hasn't changed in 15 years.
Oh God.
They diamond grind it about once a decade, and it's time to just replace all the pavement.
I think that's what they're starting to do now, right? Is just rip it out and do it
Josh was mentioning to me, I think it was Josh, that they were getting the one-way pairs set up for between Richmondville and Worcester.
Yeah, it's basically one long road diet now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not that there's a lot of traffic, but yeah.
Yeah.
When I first drove 88 in 03, they were doing that diamond grinding. I guess probably from like Rotterdam from like Richmondville to Rotterdam. But I can't remember. But I know it was a lot of that.
Well, they would do it like they would do it like an exit a year for a while.
Mm-hmm. And I've never heard the term diamond grinding anywhere else except for New York. I don't know if other states do it or not. Not that I care, but
Yeah, other states do it. They may call it something else.
Diamond grinding is a fairly standard treatment.
Okay, I just have never heard it with it, so hey, I learned something tonight. Yay.
Yeah.
What do they do in North Carolina?
I have no freaking clue.
Oh, okay.
They just pave.
just overlay it, just TNL and put a new layer.
I honestly, when it comes to what they do as in type of construction stuff, I wouldn't ask that. I wouldn't know at all. I'm not sure. But this to me is where it really kicks in, as you can see that the hills or mountains, depending on what you consider as what. Straight ahead, and to me, this is where the scenery really kicks in.
In Delaware, those would be mountains.
But what's that?
In Delaware, those would be mountains.
North Carolina, central North Carolina, those would be mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they're hills here. They're big hills, but they're still hills.
Oh, wow.
Although, basically, when you went south of I-88 here, that's when you start to see the hills get a little bit bigger. Basically, the lead up to the Catskills. I-88 is kind of a dividing line between that build up to the Catskills and more of your central leather stocking type hills.
And isn't like between Oneonta and Richmondville that area where like you can get some lake effects if it's strong enough?
Yes, basically, especially between like Skenevis and Richmondville. My cabin's on the west side of the hill, so we get some lake effect too from there.
So I remember like sometimes I would there wouldn't be nothing in the ground in Schenectady or Rotterdam. I'd go out on 88 at lunch and there'd be a couple inches.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it is, the part between Richmondville and Worcester, but yeah, basically Skenevis. It really depends on how the wind is flowing, or the direction the wind is coming in from. So, speaking of Skenevis, there is a what's in Skenevis? There's the Chief Skenevis Bakery. That's all there is there.
I did not know how that was pronounced until about 10 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Shenavus.
I think like Schenectady, basically it's the same start, like, how you pronounce it. And then you have, Evis, so it'd be Skenevis.
I pronounce it Schenectady myself.
See, Doug, this is where Skankectady, yes.
Skankectady, Troylet, and Smallbany.
I thought it was Skank next to me.
That's a good one.
That's what I've heard.
Hey, you could have lived in Niskayuna, Doug, but it wasn't meant to be. You could be the big kahuna.
But it was not meant to be.
Yeah, I know.
I knew someone from Niskayuna once.
Oh. Were they the big kahuna when they lived in Niskayuna?
Yeah.
Joe Gallagher.
The finest tuna.
Yes, they do. In Niskayuna.
Oh, showtime is showtime yesterday. Woo! Showtime is showtime yesterday. Woo! Showtime is showtime and showtime is showtime. Showtime is showtime yesterday. Woo!
I wonder if he's still on the air up there.
The
Albany County Historical Department still.
Oh, the old hag from the Albany Historical Society.
Yeah. He would have. I still think if we would have there, we could have got on the air and had him interview us for Gribble Nation. He probably would have. Oh wow.
Let me see. He's apparently got a Joe Gallagher blog.
Yeah.
But he stopped posting that in January.
Oh.
I'm on the Gribble Nation podcast.
Oh, we could try it when we get to it.
When I get around to it.
Yeah.
When we get around.
Well,
if you haven't heard, Doug and I guess, do you want to spill the beans to that a little bit, Doug?
Yeah, I'm setting up a podcast for Gribble Nation.
Woohoo!
Yes, Doug and I will be doing some. I think it will be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
We'll have some A-list road enthusiast celebrities on.
Maybe we can...
And some of us.
And people like us, yeah.
Yeah, feel like us. And we'll talk about topics and things that we've posted and things like that. Doug and I have been through it all.
It'll be a hoot. Yeah, so we are approaching Worcester. That's how this one is pronounced. Not Worcester or Worcester. But the thing is, Worcester, New York. President James Garfield, that's where his parents were from.
I did not know that.
Yes.
And speaking of things, I think this is more proof that you just got to keep working on the Unlocking New York that you feature. So
yeah, I was doing the Unlocking New York. I put that to the side because of the pandemic, and everyone's like, no, you shouldn't let people trash. I do a lot of, I'm on a lot of hiking and waterfall blogs, so that's where I get that influence from. Where basically everyone's like, no, we need to keep things pristine and blah 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 blah. I'm like, bleh. I'm like, Nevo Trace, bleh.
But I mean, just the towns part, like we're doing with PA and in North Carolina. But I mean, I know you've been all over that state 3 times and twice a week on Sundays.
Yeah.
And what all the little ins and outs. I mean, there's a gold mine. So.
Yeah. What else is in Worcester? There's a Stew Bags. I mean, Stewart's.
Stuart Shopes?
Yes.
Isn't that what CJ would call it, Shopes?
Yeah, probably no. I follow an upstate New York memes page on Instagram, and they had one for days like, oh, you're from upstate if you call it Storts. I'm like, no, I pronounce it Stewart's. Like someone who sort of pronunciate stuff.
So are Cumberland Farms still around?
Yes, Cumbies is still around.
Cumbies. Used to go across the street to that one in Rotterdam all the time.
Yeah.
How close are we to Scary County?
It's under 10 miles.
Oh.
So yeah, this is the exit for Worcester and East Worcester coming up, and in Charlottesville, which is a little. That's basically where when I reference middle of nowhere, New York, on what I am commenting something on Roadway Wiz, that's the town I'm referring to. So that's where that's where my home away from home is.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it's basically, if I was heading east on I-88, I would exit here and not have to deal with the clippity-clop of the highway.
The downside is you have to hand crank your internet.
That's true.
Well, we do have internet now. Actually, apparently Spectrum actually wires high-speed internet all the way into the middle of nowhere, New York. I found that out this year, and then I mentioned that to my sister, and then she had the Spectrum guy bring wire up the 2,000 foot long crappy dirt road that we have. But yeah, we're entering that that really bad pavement part, which we're mentioning they were going to start doing contraflow here.
Yeah, this is where it gets really bad.
Yeah. I feel like I'm back in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
But without the cattle chutes.
True.
Oh, yeah. Don't have any ramp stops yet.
That's true.
Yeah, but it's basically this all the way to Richmondville. And then it starts getting more humane, so to speak. But this is, I think, one of the more scenic, if you're driving in, basically from the hills and you see I-88, you can really see, how scenic this part is. Mm-hmm. Of course, here, you got the trees are a little higher, so you're not really getting the full effect. But if you remember that Instagram picture I posted earlier, basically this is that area where you had, basically I-88, basically weaves through the hills, and it is really scenic.
Isn't there a stream that runs through this at one point? Or am I getting that confused with something?
You are correct. Basically, in that section just east of Worcester, there is a stream that runs through it, and it's actually part of the Skenevis Creek.
Oh.
Yeah, basically runs for about a mile in the median. over near Hudson Lake, and then basically we'll go on parallel the westbound lanes of 88 after that, and then you have to the west of that you have the D&H, the old D&H Railroad, Delaware and Hudson. They have their lines. Now it's all freight trains, but at one time that was actually passenger rail between Binghamton and Albany that was running through this valley.
Mm. Wow. That road's in pretty bad shape.
Well, this is going to be all original pavement still, right? From
yes.
The 70s?
Really? Wow.
Yeah, 70s, early 80s. They built the road, basically. They were building it east, from west to east.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the last sections of the road that were built, not including the connector in Binghamton, basically was, in, Schoharie and Schenectady counties, which we're not in Scary County yet, but we'll be there soon.
US 1 in Pennsylvania had when I was learning to drive original concrete from the 40s at best, and did not have this kind of wear on it.
Well, I think here too is you do have a lot of freezing and thawing.
Yeah,
I think that's part of it. It's like Pennsylvania, the potholes. That's basically that was one thing, was freezing and thawing, which was creating the potholes. But for concrete, it does this.
Yeah. Wow. And to be behind a camper, and it looks like he's hauling something. That must have been fun to drive.
Yeah, if I remember the picture I posted earlier, you see kind of the power lines on the right, and you see the road on the right. That's that road coming down now. This is in East Worcester. And then if you remember earlier, I had meant some alternatives. So you see I-80 kind of veering towards the left into the hills. One of the alternatives would have veered right into what's called Brooker Hollow. So if they built that, basically the road would have veered right instead of left into Richmondville.
Yeah.
And that's basically, either way you're going through valleys and basically kind of similar elevations. So, but they decided to follow 7 instead of following it's a county route. And at CEO County, it's County Route 38A, and then Schoharie County is County Route 22, Brooker Hollow Road. I've driven on that road many times, too, so...
Is this where the one bridge comes right next to it around here, or is that...
that's in Richmondville.
Okay.
Yeah. Because in Richmondville, there's, Adam, I were mentioning this, and I've tried to get pictures. I think the best way is there's a road. It's Winter Street in Richmondville. You can get there, but I haven't really ventured into that part. But there is a bridge that goes over that point's a Cobleskill Creek, because right now we're still in the Chesapeake Bay watershed, but basically as soon as you cross over these hills here. Okay. You'll be in the Hudson River watershed.
Hooray!
And there's a sign, at least going westbound, telling you when you enter the Chesapeake Bay watershed, but you don't see anything eastbound. So it's a matter of knowing where to look.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a nice dip.
Pennsylvania is very particular about letting you know when you're in the Susquehanna watershed. Susquehanna is the one I've seen more than any other river.
Oh, in North Carolina, they do each of like the sub ones, like the Tar River Basin and the Catawba River Basin. They're all over the place. Every little, and they all flow into the ocean. But
the Delaware River watershed is starts a little bit further south in Stamford, which is over, actually it's the town of Jefferson is actually where it starts, and that's over in the Schoharie, Delaware County line near Stanford. Hey, we're entering Scary County.
Oh, can we?
Yeah. So one time, what happened was, we went to an Oneonta Tigers game. Adam and CJ were driving back home. I went to my cabin, and as soon as CJ and Adam crossed the county line, I got a call on my cell phone from CJ, and he starts singing the I Love New York Picture Perfect Schoharie County jingle, which is so much to do, so much to see, family fun, educational too. In picture perfect Schoharie County, the perfect I Love New York getaway.
Yeah.
It was a really bad. My rendition was bad. His was probably worse.
Yeah, he was dead serious. I'm driving. I'm cracking up. What the hell is going on?
But I'm like, that's for my phone. We do get a cell phone service in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, what? Did I just hear?
He would sing that all the time. Anytime you go into Schoharie County, I'm scarred for life. Yeah. You're in New York now.
We call things corners instead of points.
So I got to tell that story.
Sure.
So we have in Rotterdam. There's an intersection called Five Corners. I think 337. I don't know what roads anymore.
Yeah.
But they met. And I would, being in North Carolina for a number of years prior to that, I would call it 5 points. And CJ's like, no, you're in New York now. We call it 5 corners. Well, I said, everyone tells it it's 5 points. They know what I'm talking about, blah, blah, blah. So there was on eBay a 5 points 1 mile sign, and we were going to. I should have bought it, the 5 points 1 mile, because Doug and I were talking about buying the sign and putting it up or holding it up a mile from 5 points and say, "See, CJ." He wouldn't have liked that.
Yeah. So we're entering Richmondville now. The pavement's gotten a little more civil. What can I say about Richmondville? Not a whole lot. But they were mentioning that that bridge. You might be able to see it on the left.
Yeah.
Where basically, it looks like it's an abandoned bridge. When it is an abandoned bridge that ends at I-88. And it actually, used to, before I-88 was there. There's a bridge left there. It used to continue over where I-88 is now and goes into, I think it's Holmes Street in downtown Richmondville.
Isn't it like a concrete? I mean, it's a solid concrete, like an arch bridge or something like that.
It is, yeah, concrete arch bridge.
Hey, Doug, why haven't you told me about this bridge before?
I need to get you to come back up to the cabin at some point.
I need to be able to see you at some point.
Yeah, maybe in the summer.
I should have mentioned that to you too, Steve. With it, because I would drive past it like that would be a cool thing to just write a feature about, and I didn't get to do it. Obviously, I moved, and for those
I've never been able to get a good picture of it.
Yeah, so
the picture is the old alignment of 10 that went in of Richmondville.
I'm thinking I would take the previous overpass of Mill Street and then just come around to the bridge and have fun over there instead of trying to photograph it from the highway.
I've tried to do that from Mill Street as well.
No, just do what our friend does and park in the left lane.
Hubcap Joe.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Oh, does Adam not know this?
No.
Not know the story of the guy who parked the car in the live traffic lane to take a picture of a light pole?
No, I don't know this story.
In New York City.
Oh, boy.
Was it Dick?
So there's this guy on one of the Facebook groups who's like really, I don't know, how would you guys describe him?
Weird.
Intense.
Intense in another world.
Roads are in my life. It's the only thing I have.
Well,
disturbed.
I think he, for what he does, he has a business where he basically sells hubcaps, and I think he actually will drive around the highways in New York City and find hubcaps that were left on the side of the road and pick them up.
We all have our callings.
We do. So this guy's calling this one day was he saw an old wooden light pole that was still standing from, God knows how far back. It wasn't. What was it? It was on.
I think the Belt.
It was on the Belt Parkway in Queens. So this guy, in his infinite wisdom, decides to stop his car in the middle of the day, like in the middle of the right lane or whatever, and just so he could get a picture of it.
It takes all kinds. It's bad.
We wouldn't have that picture if not for someone as heroic as him.
Mm-hmm.
I think he also has a YouTube video where he says PayPal stole his girlfriend, or maybe it's eBay stole his girlfriend.
I think it
or
was
something
PayPal.
like that.
Yeah.
PayPal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like PayPal stole my girlfriend, and he'll steal yours too.
And then he never actually explains it in the video. And then we all
everyone has a price. Everyone has a price.
We all left comments on the video asking him to clarify, and he never answered us.
Well, hey, maybe he's down in Georgia now. Anyway. Trying to figure out.
Yeah, so we have Cobleskill on our left.
Is SUNY still there?
SUNY's still there.
Okay.
There's not a whole lot else going on in Cobleskill ever. But yeah, the college there. That's about it.
All right.
There's an old movie theater there.
But you guys, if you guys can get that one bridge back in Richmondville, that would be wherever that town is. That would be cool.
Richmondville.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah. So what?
Road meet.
I'd love to get up there and do that and stuff like that. But for some of the folks, that might not know me that well, Doug and I, if I'm driving back from work, or Steven, we'll just talk to each other, call and give ideas and bounce ideas. And
I thought I was your only one.
No, you're not.
No. Brian's a two-time member.
But it's usually if Steve doesn't pick up, I'll call Doug. But we try to bounce. Or vice versa, but especially if I find something or see something, because they travel a lot more than I do. I used to for work, but just, hey, check this out, or I'm here, is there anything you want me to find? Just fun stuff like that. When I was going back and forth from Rocky Mount, it made the hour drive go fast.
Yeah, so we're approaching the other exit for Cobleskill, which is actually the exit that you take if you were wanting to go to Howe Caverns or Secret Caverns.
Have we passed the Richmondville store?
We did, yes.
Oh,
we're on the east side of Cobleskill now. So we can't talk about the busty redhead.
No, we can't.
I think we can talk about the busty redhead. I vote
There's a busty redhead that works at the Richmondville store.
We already talked about Wendy's.
Yeah, so what else do we have at this exit? You go down to Middleburg, which actually I went to an 1780s beer competition there once. There was a brewery from the Green Wolf Brewery in Middleburg, and then you also had the McKinnon Brewery. They're out of the Kingston, Ontario area, and they had a beer competition using beer recipes from the 1780s.
Interesting.
Yeah, I went there once. I had the beer. Both were really good. I voted for the Canadian brewers because I thought their beer was a little bit better, but both beer recipes are very good. Oh. And Middleburg, you also have Roman's Nose, which is a popular hike.
Yep.
Which is.
Is that your picture on your Skype thing?
Yeah, my Skype profile is I'm standing at Broman's Nose, apparently.
Yeah.
Over in that direction, it's a town called West Fulton. There's a hard cidery. It's called a Scrumpy U, as in U, E-W-E, lamb, sheep, whatever. I just find that an amusing name. But the Howe Caverns area, there's a brewery called the Sirius Brewing Company.
Oh.
Yes.
Dan Garnell.
I was looking for Dan Garnell the last time I passed by there.
Dan Garnell.
He's very serious.
That's very
but yeah, Howe Caverns and Cedar Caverns, they're worth a visit. Howe Caverns is a little bit more expensive to visit than Cedar Caverns, but basically it's a good place to visit off of I-88. And then you have, next exit we'll be approaching is the Schoharie exit.
Mm-hmm.
And Schoharie's a nice little, village as well. There's a taco place I'll stop by occasionally, and they have some good tacos and quesadillas. Got to support the local businesses.
Down to about a half hour of video left, so that's your warning, guys. If you have any last minute stories you want to get in, we'll be leaving I-88 in the next 15 minutes.
15, 20 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Past my old exit.
Violin. I have to do that for a half hour every day if I'm going to be able to get into a good college. So.
Happy Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
Maybe you could play that on the violin.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Happy Eastern Standard Time. Happy Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, so on the first Sunday of November, Adam and I will send a text to each other, Happy Eastern Standard Time.
I didn't know there was a song associated with that.
There was. It's from Joe. It's another Joe Gallagher one, and
yeah, it was the. I don't think he's actually. I was looking on the website. He doesn't show up on the website, so maybe he's actually retired.
Maybe, but
so he had been in radio for a long time.
Yeah, must have.
And yes, it is a nice fall drive, especially now we're dipping into the Schoharie Valley. You have the Schoharie Creek. This part in the mornings, especially in the fall, can get pretty foggy in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And usually the fog starts right around here. And then basically it'll be foggy until you get up to the top of the hill on the other side of the valley. Here, but yeah, this is, you can go to Esperance, which used to have a lot of cheese and was home to the Esperance Witch, which there's a 19th century folklore about that. Our friend Brian Farr from the Historic Route 20 Association might know more about that than I would.
I posted on the chat a link for that when I did that gives you an idea of a little bit. There's more on the Flickr site, but of what Schoharie County looks like in this area in Broman's Nose in the falls. It is very scenic.
Yes. It is scenic in all seasons, although we still call it Schoharie County.
And it's the perfect New York, I love New York getaway.
And if you take 30 down through the Schoharie Valley, that's a very scenic drive.
Mm-hmm.
You take that down into Blenheim. You have the Blenheim covered bridge, which they actually had to. They actually wound up rebuilding that covered bridge because actually washed out from the remnants of Hurricane Irene. I think at that point it was just Tropical Storm Irene, but there was a lot of flooding from that, and they actually wound up rebuilding the bridge 15 feet higher. It was like the last double-laned covered bridge in the Northeast, I think.
Probably Northeast, yeah. Because
I know there's one in I want to say in West Virginia.
West Virginia, Philippi. Yeah, used to carry US 250, but yeah,
right.
Philippi, West think I'm pronouncing it right.
Yeah.
See, now and you need to go back down there, check out that covered bridge.
Yeah. And then you can go down that way. You go through, Minekill. There's a nice waterfall down there, and then down into Gilboa. And then one of my favorite roads, just from the number 990V, is down that way as well.
And because it's signed.
Yes.
It is.
But yeah, we're climbing the hills. You'll see a lot more in this part, into Schenectady County. You'll see a lot more climbing lanes along 88 as well on both sides of the highway. So you'll see that, and then not too far from here is the county line to Schenectady County. But if I was mentioning 88, one of the original plans was, instead of building it to end in Rotterdam, was going to veer east. And not far from here, that's where it would have veered east towards Thruway exit 25.
I remember seeing that, and I'm gonna have to try to look for that, because I think probably somebody posted an AA Roads forum, or it was on somebody's website at one point. All of those optional alignments of 88, like you said.
They have it on Google Books. I went into Google Books, and they have all the planning documents. They have the copies of the environmental impact statements, and you get a lot of information from that, and that's where I'm finding all these snippets of information saying, hey, this road could have been built here instead of there. So that's where I was finding all that from. So there's actually a lot of information online you can find out about this.
You can find some good backstories as a result.
Yeah.
There, look at that and say, okay, why didn't they, choose it or anything? It takes some time, but who knows if there's any backstory on why they chose this version of 88 or anything. Could be easy; it was the most economical, but
yeah, that could have been it. Because I think what happened was that the initial thought was to have 80 come in closer to Albany. But they built it west, and part of the concessionaire agreement, or what have you, was that if you take 88, enter the Thruway at exit 25A, which is where 88 dumps in. If you take that to exit 26, 25, or 24, from it between there and exit 25A, there's no toll.
Yep. Funny story on that. First time I did that, in that same October 2003 trip, when I was going from Maryland up to White River Junction, Vermont, because I had heard that, so I got, you still got, there was, I had the ticket and everything, and I get to the toll booth at 90 and 87, and I'm like, you don't have to pay toll, right? And she's like, yeah, don't you, but it sounded like a, duh, I don't have to pay toll? Wow! And it's just like, yeah, get away from here, you traveling tourist.
Yeah, so that, so I know someone who has lots of toll tickets. And I have lots of pictures of toll tickets.
I have a lot of toll tickets.
I don't.
I have a lot of tickets.
I have ticket stubs.
Ticket stubs.
Yeah, to concerts and sporting events. Oh, remember going to those things?
What's a concert?
I think it's where a bunch of people gather and listen to music.
I'm going through my 2014 photos for the upcoming year of updates, and as I get to the meet photos, I just cringe every time. Like, how are all these people in the same room unmasked?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not socially distanced.
What do we want? An update. And what do you want it? Now.
I want a swimming pool. No, I want a bathtub party, because today is National Bathtub Party Day.
Well, Steve,
what other weird national day is it? National Day today. Today is. Today is National Rhubarb. Today is National Rhubarb Vodka Day.
Oh,
wow!
National Skywarn Recognition Day.
Oh,
Bathtub Party Day. International Ninja Day.
Oh,
National Sacher Tort Day. There's always a National Dessert Day of some sort.
okay.
And National Repeal Day, which would have been for the repeal of Prohibition.
Hooray!
Hey! For your bathtub party. But speaking of which, Steve, I'm gonna try that once this is done, saying it's National Bathtub Party, and see if that will entice my two boys to actually take a bath tonight.
Ooh, fun, exciting! It's
Bathtub Party Day encourages us all to skip the ordinary shower and linger in the tub instead. On December 5th, add some suds to the tub and pamper yourself.
Nash, for those who don't know, is my youngest son, and he'll be like, but I don't like baths. And Cole will be saying, I took a bath yesterday, can't I wait another 2 days?
A bathtub party sounds suspiciously like a crowded affair, but it doesn't have to be.
It could be a hot tub party.
Ooh.
It also saves on water while everyone is having some good, clean fun.
Good, clean family fun, like county collecting. Family, good, clean county fun.
Yay!
Oh, where's Jeff on that one? I haven't done it in a while, but I should next year go back and when I would get new counties, always call Jeff and say, hey, by the way, I got another new county, and he'd go, oh, damn it. Jeff would not like that.
He tried pulling that on me once, but then there was that one time where Jeff and I drove around Ohio clinching counties so we could shut you up.
Yes, and I haven't called you since because you took the lead then from me, and you've never looked back.
Yeah, I'm just shy of 1,800 counties now. I'm at 1,788.
I would have been at 1,200 this year, but
it was never meant to be.
No, I could just like living in Niskayuna.
Never meant to be.
This is an interesting interchange. Here you got 7 on the right and 20 on the 7 on the left and 20 on the right.
Yeah, and then there's an access road basically that links the two at the interchange here in Waynesburg.
Yep.
And we're coming on the home stretch of 88 now. Yeah. We're entering the town of Adam Princetown.
Yep. Population hardly any.
Yep. Yeah, but basically you're coming into the Hudson Valley, and the mountain. Basically, you might be able to see. I think from there either the Adirondacks or the Green Mountains in the far distance.
Yeah.
From a distance.
Yeah.
Not singing that song because I don't know the lyrics anyways. I don't want to scare people more.
We haven't already, yeah.
Yeah, if people haven't switched off in droves already.
Yeah. We have 35 people. We're doing all right, which means we should come back every day.
Yeah. Just have the 3 of us comment on everything.
I think they just like hearing the 3 of you guys sing and do all that other stuff.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I've known Doug now for almost over 20 years.
Well, over 20 years, yeah. And that's about as long as I've known Steve for.
Yeah.
Yeah, back from the old, there was an old IRC Road Geek chat, and that's how we've all became acquainted with each other.
And where we had all the sounds, those were the best part.
Was that chat prior to MTR?
No,
that was it was on Internet Relay Chat, which was I think that is a program that still exists. But basically, it was It was basically the predecessor to today's 88 Roads forum chat. Basically, it's kind of a like a sports bar, pretty much.
Yeah. That was us. And the sounds made it. But we would have U.S. Route Shields Price is Right.
Yes. Oh, look, things have changed.
Hey, look, it's now last weekend.
Hey!
Yeah. So I did have to update the coverage at the end here because we do have some new footage of the Thruway that we will be showing you here. I guess, Doug, you have any last things you want to say about the east end of 88 before we talk Thruway?
As I was mentioning, it was supposed, basically this is kind of, the alternative 25 and a half is, what the official alternative for this was. Not too much. Basically, you're slowing down. There's we're only about 10 miles from Albany here, so.
And this exit's unique because it's a diamond, but you can't go to the left here. You can only go to the seven.
Basically the road ends at the ramps. And you get a lot of trucks. Trucks at this exit too.
Go to that pilot station or whatever it was when I was there.
Yeah, it's pilot station. I think it used to be a Citgo station years back.
Yeah. Well, here's the exit 25A toll plaza, and strangely, you'll see there's nobody here. I wonder what that's all about.
They still have the truck parking area?
Yeah, there's a new tandem lot on the right that we passed a little while ago.
So there used to be one right here at the booths.
Right before the booth.
They're building a new one, yeah.
You want to say hi?
Hi!
This is Colton.
Hey, Colton!
Yeah, we picked up a passenger at the toll booth.
Yeah. But there used to be a toll truck booth right there, and then one would go to the right, and you would see trucks go across, get through the tolls, and then cut across into 88, basically turn left at the interstate to get to the parking lot.
Daddy, when was this framed? Was it?
This is
my son have a picture from Cadillac Ranch.
There we go.
That's Nash.
The whole crowd's here.
Adam is being assassinated, so while that's going on, I will tell you that we're now entering the New York State Thruway, and you'll see that the cashless tolling gantries are now live and active. Here's one that we're going to cross under right now. The $350 million project, which was commenced about a year ago, is scheduled to be fully wrapped up in December of 2021. It has seen the full conversion of the ticketed cash tolling system of the Thruway from Pennsylvania to Massachusetts get converted all over to electronic tolling. So the gantries went live on November 14th of this year, and that's it for cash. It's either Easy Pass or you get a bill somehow. So,
hey, Dan and Doug, Colton has a question.
Okay.
Yes.
When was it built?
When was the Thruway built? He'd like to know.
During the 1950s was when they built the Thruway.
Oh, so 50s, Cold War era.
Yes.
Red Scare.
Yeah, that whole time period.
Yeah.
Thank you for the answer.
Yes.
Yep. So we'll spend the next few miles.
1955 is when it opened.
1955, Colt. And as Doug and I'm sorry, guys, on that. That's just everyone. My oldest son. He's
upstairs to see what president it was.
Okay, he wants to see what president.
Eisenhower.
It was Eisenhower. But Colton.
You're not gonna make him look it up? Come on, man.
He's gonna look it up. But
Tell him it was Trump.
Oh God, he would be like worst president ever.
He's a good kid. He's gonna go places.
Sorry about that, guys. But for those there, Colton, Doug, and Steve know Colton very well, and He knew that I was going to be on the call with you guys on that, and he wanted to say hello.
All right. So yeah, we'll be spending the next few miles here looking at a couple other cashless tolling locations as they come up, because this is again all new from this year's construction. Here's the exit 25 that Doug was alluding to about the original location of I-88's tie-in with the Thruway. It's about, 5 or 6 miles east of where it does tie in today.
Well, actually, if I look at Steve Anderson's NYCRoads.com page for the Thruway, constructed 1950 to 1956.
Yeah, I think the main line, or what we would consider the main line, was completed by 56, and then the Berkshire Spur was built right after that, and the Niagara extension was built around the same time, so like late 50s.
Right. Yeah, I found a book that I had on building the Mass Pike.
I have that
as
book.
I was cleaning. And I think what they were saying there... That's not the one. This is not the one either. I have a lot of books. But yeah, basically, they had built it to link up with each other. I think that... Massachusetts, I think they actually were looking at building a little bit further south to start with, and then they figured out how to link it together. Yeah, but here we have the Gilderland rest area.
Yeah, when I was driving all the way out to exit 26 and 27 earlier this year for work, I stopped there quite a bit on the way back east. And another perk of working on that project was you got to use the median U-turns legally. Although not the ones around exit 25 where there's hardly a median. You couldn't use those. But you could use like the ones up here. Most of the ones on the Thruway you could use. But they specifically, when they issued us our permits, they singled out the ones like around 890 there. They were off limits. And that's good reason. I mean, that's not even one car length wide through there. So it's generally not a good idea to use them regardless of who you are.
Yeah.
I'm going to subscribe to your channel.
Colton wants to subscribe to your channel, Dan.
Absolutely, son. Go for it.
That's the best decision you've made in your entire life.
Yes.
It's the only roads channel on YouTube worth subscribing to. Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, we can all agree on that one.
Yeah.
Well, and I'd say there's other YouTube groups, YouTube channels on about roads worth subscribing to, like 504 Road Trips.
No, he sucks. No, I'm kidding. He's okay.
I'm not even looking for subscribers on my own channel. I just use it to host the videos from my website. I don't need favorite
road trips.
Follow.
I
Follow this roadway whiz guy. He's more popular.
Yeah, well, at Gribble Nation, we don't have a YouTube channel, so we just defer to Roadway Whiz.
Yep.
Well, that is.
But we have, an Instagram page, Facebook. We even have an online jigsaw puzzle page. I bet you didn't know that there were Road Geek sites that had online jigsaw puzzles.
I do not sell jigsaw puzzles.
Thanksgiving? Did you just start that a couple weeks ago?
A few months ago. I actually posted a link to it recently. It's just I followed. There's a page I follow on Facebook called Drone Ohio, which guys around Cleveland Yeah, Cleveland. And he has some nice drone shots, including some drone shots of the area highways around there. And he does post links. He has online jigsaw puzzles. So I thought a link, though, like, I could do this for Gribble Nation, so I did. It's a good way to like spend a little time in the evening, just exercising your mind. A little different.
Exit 24 is my old exit to my old place in Albany. Yes.
And then you'll notice, probably since you were last in this area, that the area between exit 24 and exit 23 in the Thruway is a little wider. They widened it to 3 lanes in each direction a few years back. I want to say in 2017? 2016, that time frame?
Yeah.
Yeah, so now we've 90s exited, that went off to Albany, and now this is I-87.
Seeing that sign for New York City made me think of when I was moving up there. New York City!
It's like the taste of Connie sauce commercials. Connie sauce is from New York City! New York City!
But
Did you like those commercials?
I can't remember. But remember when we were I was moving up to Albany and we stopped at that Sonic?
Yeah.
In Raleigh, and the lady found out that you and CJ were from New York, and she did that. New York!
I've never been to Sonic before, so we go place our order, and the lady's like, "Are you ready to be diversionized?"
I'm not going there.
All right, I just saw Scott Onson put on FMM, and the only thing I can think of is Flea Market Montgomery.
Living rooms, bedrooms.
You or as we say,
they got it.
Say Peak Dribble Nation.
You're talking about Flea Market Montgomery.
It's just like a mini mall.
Hey. Here's another gantry that reads your Easy Pass. It's just like cashless toll.
Hey.
Doug, Steve, I hate that you weren't there on that trip. It was fun.
I wish I met him. When I went down there myself, he was long gone, and the place was really on the downswing at that point.
Yeah, I have never been to Montgomery, Alabama.
You are missing out.
I probably am. That's part of the country I haven't really seen much of. Is the Deep South. And I've been to Alabama, but I've been basically the northern part of the state along US 72. But that's about it.
Well, I hate to hear this. I have a Bob Ross bobblehead, and it's been decapitated by one of the boys.
Oh no!
That was a happy accident.
He died in line.
It is a happy little accident.
Wait, let's see if it can hear. You press a button, and it's actually a talking Bob Ross bobblehead.
I need to get myself one of these. How do I do
that? I'll see if I can find you a link, and I'll send you one.
All right. So, what do you like? It's a bobblehead, you said, or?
Yeah, it's like a 2-inch bobblehead, 3-inch bobblehead, and it has a little speaker thing. You press the button, and it says a couple of different things that he has said over it. But yeah, it's a Bob Ross bobblehead. I'll send you a picture of it. You got to get it.
One of those. That sounds like that's right up my alley.
Yeah. Bob Ross would have been very happy if you liked this video.
Yeah, if you have not already clicked the like button, if you haven't already subscribed, now's a good time to do that.
A happy little subscription.
That's it.
The one person who put the dislike, you're wrong.
F you.
Yes. You disagree.
We are in the last couple miles of the video, so we are going to start to wrap things up. But if anybody in the live chat has anything they want to bring up with us real quick, now's a good time to ask it. Guys, this was fun.
Yes.
Hey, can I
The four of us
Hey.
and Colton and Nash.
Yes. And I'd love to do this again. I hope we entertained everyone.
Can I tell them something?
Well, all right, Colton wants to tell you something. Hold on.
Yes.
All right.
As long as it's appropriate.
Oh,
Yeah. Well,
next thing, can we do it on 485?
he wants you to come down to Charlotte, Dan, and do one on 485.
Oh boy, 485's a good one.
I think you gotta.
I think.
Yeah.
Who is this talking? Which boy
It was Colton.
That was Colton. Well,
Mhm.
if Colton requested it, I think I have to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm
There
gonna
you-
have to figure out a way to get down to Charlotte at some point.
Well, if hockey comes back, then you can time it, and you have to join us for a tailgate that Steve and Doug both know so well.
Oh boy, I've heard about those tailgates for a few years now, and I understand they're legendary. But
Yes. You can even venture down P Hill.
Yes, you can go down P Hill. I have not yet, but you can go. You can. And who made it a landmark on Foursquare?
I think I put it as a landmark on Foursquare, so I become the king of P Hill. Or sorry, the mayor of P Hill. That's right. I'm the mayor of P Hill. I have no idea. I have no idea if that's still check-in on Foursquare. Swarm? Is it Swarm now? I haven't used that site.
They
in a
went
few
back.
years.
They
Yeah.
kind of went back to Foursquare, but I deleted it and things. But.
Yeah. I just got bored of checking in on it. I got a free bottled water from a check-in one, so that was worth it, I guess.
I got a free book about I-95 exits in Florida from the Florida Welcome Center as a result of a check-in once.
Winner.
Nice.
Oh, look, another cashless toll paid.
Yep, that's the last of the gantries in the Albany area. And the next mainline gantry you would see is about 100 miles south of here. At this point in the video, as we wrap up shop, we are 140 miles north of New York City. New York City! And really want to thank everybody who tuned in tonight. You know, it was great to see you all again after the summer off. Hope you guys had a great summer, or at least as good a summer as you could have. And we're glad that you're back with us for another season of programming. And I'm glad that tonight's season opener went off without a hitch. I would like to thank my co-hosts tonight, Doug, Adam, and Steve. It was great having you guys with us. And
Yeah, it's good having us on again.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
yeah, it was great having everybody along. This was fun. And obviously we'll be back next week with another program. Next Saturday will be a webinar on the highways of the southern tier of New York. And we look forward to doing that. Guys, any closing thoughts before we sign off?
Not from my end.
Adam, go upstairs and say hi to your wife. She misses you.
I will. I'm guessing she posted something on Facebook.
We've been in touch.
Oh,
Oh boy.
there it is. I see it. I just see
You can celebrate National Bathtub Party Day as a family.
you guys
Good,
done
clean family fun.
just like county clinching.
Just like that. All right. Well, thanks everyone. I enjoyed it. Thanks again, and I hope you guys didn't mind me and the boys.
No, that was great. That was a great cameo there.
Yes, and it was good timing, so we picked them right up at the toll booth.
Yeah. It was seamless. Yeah. All right. Good night, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you. Join us tomorrow for our roundtable if you want. Otherwise, we'll see you next Saturday for the webinar. So we'll sign off from here. Thanks for watching I-88 with us. Enjoy your night.